Donald Trump says he believes there are the makings of a deal on ending Russia's war with Ukraine. He was speaking as talks got underway in Florida with President Zelensky. On the table was a fresh 20-point draft peace plan hammered out by Kyiv and European leaders, which includes provision for a full and immediate ceasefire. However, in a phone call with Vladimir Putin before the talks, it's being reported the Russian leader told Mr. Trump that a ceasefire would simply prolong the war and that a final settlement must be reached involving the status of the Donbas region in eastern Ukraine. Well, the discussions in Florida have just ended, and we'll get the very latest from Washington. But first, here's Sean Dilley with our top story tonight.
At Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, a friendly welcome and a tantalising prospect.
I do believe that we have the makings of a deal that's good for Ukraine, good for everybody.
I hope that all these donors can bring peace as quick as possible.
It's going to go very quickly. I think we're in final stages of talking.
But a warning too.
It'll either end or it's going to go on for a long time, and millions of additional people are going to be killed. Millions.
Moscow currently controls around 75% of the Donetsk region and 99% of the neighbouring Luhansk region, known together as the Donbas. So far, Russia hasn't entertained withdrawing, but Presidents Trump and Zelensky are looking at a proposal to create a new free economic zone that would benefit Russia and Ukraine. In exchange, both countries would have to agree to withdraw their military. Today's talks follow a year of intensive negotiations with the US in the middle.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
10 months after this awkward scene in the Oval Office, the tone now is strikingly different. Crisis talks between Ukraine, Europe and the US appear to have soothed previous tensions. This was supposed to be a breakthrough moment last August, but talks then ended without agreement. Russia has since said elements of recent proposals remained unacceptable.
If the authorities in Kiev are not willing to end the matter peacefully, we will achieve all the goals we have in the special military operation by military means.
However much the US and Ukraine may agree today, what really matters now is what President Putin thinks. Sean Dilley, BBC News in Washington.
We can go live to Sean now because they're holding a news conference, the two leaders, after those talks in Florida. What are they saying, Sean?
Well, positive messaging, but no actual substantive breakthrough that they've shared yet as to what would happen with the Donbas region that we just heard about in our report. What President Trump has said, though, is he thinks it's getting close, very, very close. He refused to put a percentage on it, even when he was pressed on the topic, when reporters had asked him about the topic. He was very clear that Russia have certainly been asking for the Donbas region as part of the negotiations. That's something that President Zelensky has always been resolute about, not being happy to pass on. There have been some bits of progress here, but let's have a listen to what President Trump had to say.
So I just want to say we've done very well. We've had discussions on just about every subject, and that includes with President Putin before. And we went into great detail, and we likewise went into great detail today. And it was an honor to have you at Mar-a-Lago and have lunch. I hope you enjoyed the food.
And we discussed all the aspects of the peace framework, which includes, and we have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and US-Ukraine security guarantees, 100% agreed. US-Europe-Ukraine security guarantees, almost agreed. Military dimension, 100% agreed.
Donald Trump and Zelensky speaking there at Mar-a-Lago inside the president's Florida residence. Now, you might think, well, what's really changed? What we don't know is what was discussed in precise terms inside. But what a far cry that was from the Oval Office bust-up, and positive signs. Now, whatever these two men think, it's now down to President Putin to say what he thinks next.
All right, Sean, thank you. Sean Dilley there live in Washington. Well, before the meeting, with Donald Trump, President Zelensky spoke with Sir Keir Starmer, where both leaders welcomed the ongoing diplomatic efforts to secure a lasting peace. Samir Hussein is live in Kyiv for us now. We know about those Russian bombardments over the weekend, Samira, a devastating backdrop to these talks that are taking place.
Whatever is decided with regards to the Donbas will have enormous impact for the people here in Ukraine. For nearly 4 years, they have been battling a Russian invasion, and so much of it hinges on what happens to that particular region. Now, if the outcome is to create a free economic zone, as President Trump so desperately wants to see happen, it will require a referendum. The people here in Ukraine will need to approve that. But when President Trump speaks of both leaders being interested in peace, that is a hard sell for the people here. They don't believe that President Putin is interested in peace and believe that he will not stop until he takes all of Ukraine as he wants. And just take a look at the scene right now. It is the dead of winter. It is very cold. And right now there are thousands of Ukrainians that are without heat and electricity as a result of the Russian bombardment.